Hello from the West Coast and good morning to others who, like me, are still in the early part of the day as we join together. My name is Reverend Mike Denton. I am the conference minister of the Pacific Northwest Conference of the United Church of Christ, based in Seattle, Washington. I am so thrilled to be here introducing our Parker Award recipient, Angela Siefer. Angela founded the National Digital Inclusion Alliance in 2015 and currently serves as its executive director. The Alliance is a community of digital inclusion practitioners and advocates, bringing together more than 600 affiliate organizations. NDIA is one of those organizations that, after it came into being, was hard to imagine the world without. How could it have been that before Angela's vision, there was no national organization dedicated solely to sharing best practices and tools among organizations nationwide, working on the ground to bring all communities to full and rich use of digital technology? In the world of COVID-19, our country's ability to respond to the need of getting millions of more people online would have been significantly worse without NDIA. The sheer number of increasing members of NDIA tells the story. When one of NDIA's amazing staff members joined us at the UCC's national meeting in a workshop this summer, their total number of affiliates stood in the mid-500s. By this month, only a few months later, the number has jumped to more than 600. Angela and her team have been in high demand, helping local community organizations stand up technology outreach, sharing data and best practices, then turning around and synthesizing that information for policymakers in Washington, D.C. Angela is no stranger to this work. Starting in Toledo, Ohio in 1996 as a graduate student, coordinating a regional community technology network. Angela combines on-the-ground experience, for example, in running the Ohio Community Computing Network, as well as modeling and research in projects like the one she conducted for the Institute of Museum and Library Services. Angela has been critical in focusing on the proper definitions for concepts that many of us casually refer to as the digital divide. Angela knows that to solve a problem, you must be able to precisely define it. Thus, NDIA explains that digital inclusion refers to the activities necessary to ensure that all individuals and communities, including the most disadvantaged, have access to and use of information and communication technologies. And digital equity is the condition when we have reached those goals, when all individuals and communities have the information technology capacity needed for full participation in our society, democracy, and economy. Angela's career has been dedicated to using digital inclusion to reach digital equity before many of us even knew what those terms meant. We are grateful for her willingness and ability to lead the way, to show us where we need to go and how to get there. For that reason, I am honored to present Angela with the Parker Award.
Thank you, Reverend. So I have my award. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, UCC Media Justice. I'm truly honored to receive this award. I'm honored to be your partner. Congratulations to Francella. I'm honored to be in this virtual room with her. I brought a prop. Can you all see what that is? So the NDIA team gave me this at our virtual retreat in August because the NDIA is a unicorn. So we talk about ourselves like that. We are unique. There's no other organization like this, like us. We are unique because we represent those 600 community-based digital inclusion programs around the country. And the NDIA team, we learn from this community, we help them learn from each other, and we use those learnings to educate policymakers, the media, the general public. That's our uniqueness, that whole thing all wrapped together. So 7 years ago when we started NDIA, I had zero public policy experience. Zero advocacy experience. I knew digital inclusion, but one could say I didn't really know what I was doing when it came to the policy side. What I did have was a network of digital inclusion practitioners and advocates, and a passion for elevating on-the-ground digital inclusion work. And I really had this moment where I was like, if I don't do this, when does it happen? What I also had at the time was a group of folks who were willing to be on a board of directors of an organization with no funding. That's amazing, right? Laura Breeden said, I'm in. Bill Callahan was willing to work for free. Like that's how NDIA got started. John Windhausen and Amina Fazlullah took me into meetings at the FCC because remember, I had no idea what I was doing. So I get into these meetings at the FCC and I'm stunned to find a dozen people around a table waiting to discuss the realities of local digital inclusion programs. They wanted to know what was happening on the ground. I remember Jay Schwartz showed me some notes he had written on NDIA Lifeline comments. So first we had figured out how to submit comments because lots of folks helped us. I get into this room and one of the folks there who's, now with Comcast looks at him and he shows me like, and to realize that somebody had taken what we had written and was taking it seriously, that was astounding. Gigi Stone asked really pointed questions. It wasn't fluff, right? She made me feel as if I belonged in that room. And then on that flight back to Columbus, I sat on the airplane and I had this feeling of pressure on my shoulders, such that I really felt I was going to fall to my knees. That pressure was the weight of what we were trying to do. And I could feel it. Wanda Davis created the Ashbury Senior Community Computing Center in Cleveland 20 years ago. And I've known Wanda about that long. She saw the digital inequities in her neighborhood. She paid staff when she could. They volunteered when she could not. My job, the reason I felt that pressure, was that I needed policymakers in DC to know Wanda's struggles and for them to appreciate her expertise, both. 2 weeks ago, Wanda and I had a chat with Acting Chair Rosenworcel on Instagram Live. Wanda was heard. That is success. NDIA is in the midst of crafting a strategic plan right now. We're discussing things like measurable outcomes. My measures of success are sometimes the obvious. 2.75 billion with a B and the Digital Equity Act. But they're also when Lazone Grays in Topeka tells me he convinced the state of Kansas that his organization should become a vendor to provide computers, connectivity, and training to individuals receiving SNAP benefits. That is success. This is digital equity's moment. I will not look back at this time and wish I had done more, been more strategic, taken more risks. I will not. At the NDIA team retreat, I was reminded the pressure is distributed now. NDIA is now a team of 12, and I'm happy to report everyone gets paid a fair living wage. So thank you to UCC Media Justice. I love your new name. Thank you for having me here.